Welcome to yet another Cardano update. Before I start, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want to support the channel and if you want access to all of our charts. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. So Cardano is still in the fourth wave move down right here. Now maybe we have bottomed. If you go on the 1 hour chart, I mean this looks like an ABC structure, so it could be complete, but to confirm that we kind of need to break above this high right here, which means we have to break about 65.9 cents. Then I will be able to confirm that the fifth wave is happening and that the fourth wave move down is in. Now, as you can see, we already have a 1-2 setup on the chart, and I already have a support region for this 1-2 setup. So if we go below the 0.786 support level, which is at 53.9 cents, then it's going to be very likely that we get another low in the fourth wave move down before we continue with the fifth wave move up, which would not be the end of the world because, we only went to the 0.382 extension right here, and we could easily drop to the 50% extension, which is at 48.8 cents, or even the 0.618 extension, which is at 44.8 cents, before getting a fifth wave right here. So yeah, the fourth wave has not been too deep, and it could have bottomed, like I said, but we kind of need to bounce right now. If we do not bounce right now, then we will most likely get another fourth wave move down, and this would just be an ABC structure. And I'm expecting Cardano to drop to about 48.8 cents if we go to that low again. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, if we do start a fifth wave to the upside right now, like I said, we have a 1-2 setup of that fifth wave, and the third wave of the fifth wave right there should get to at least 70.3 cents, which is the 200% extension of this 1-2 setup. Let me also label it, because why not? So this is a 1, 2, this would be a 3, 4, and the fifth wave should finish somewhere in this region right here between the, let's say, 3.618 extension, which is at 72.9 cents, and the 400% extension, which is at 77.7 cents. Now, this could obviously overextend because, as you know, the third wave right here went to the 300% extension. It went way above the 200% extension, and my minimum target for that third wave was the 200% extension, and, Cardano did not really care about that. It went way above it, and it got above the 2.272, it got above the 2.618, and it got to the 300%, and then, after we got to that extension, then we had some kind of correction. So it's hard to say where the fifth wave will top, but in my opinion it should top at least at about 72.9 cents. But I would obviously want to see it go a bit higher than that. Now, once we get the fifth wave, then I will finally be able to confirm that the main second wave move down is in, which is the main second wave move of this very large 1-2 setup that we started all the way back in June of last year. And yeah, I'm still expecting a third wave move up, a main third wave move, but you have to keep in mind that after we get these 5 waves, we will need some kind of ABC structure to cool off, because these 5 waves will complete a first wave of the main third wave that I was talking about, which is the green wave right here. And after we complete a first wave, that means that we also have to get a second wave, and the second wave could be a bit deep. I mean, I will of course give you support levels for that once we get the fifth wave, and if we get the fifth wave. And if we go to like 80 cents in the fifth wave, then it could be the case that the second wave move down goes down to about 58 cents or so. But of course, I don't think people are going to complain about that, so, if Cardano keeps going up, then people are going to be happy about it. Now, keep in mind, we are still above the bull market support band, which is very bullish because each time Cardano actually gets above the bull market support band, it gets a huge pump, and it continues that pump for a long time. I was talking about this when we were down here and when everybody was just FUDing ADA. If you can remember what I said in my previous videos like a few months ago, after we had this cross right here, I did say that these crosses are usually very, very bullish. And as you can see here, we had a cross on the bull market support band. The green line went above the red line. We did nothing for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden we broke above the bull market support band, and then we had huge pumps, one after the other. And guess what? We had a cross right here on the bull market support band again. The green line went above the red line, and I did tell you that it could take a few weeks or months, but then we should get some kind of pump and we should get some kind of impulsive move to the upside, and what do you know? It happened. And why did it happen? It's because we had a cross and because the second wave right here most likely bottomed, and here we were also in a similar looking setup. This was a 1-2 setup, and the second wave move down looked hopeless. It seemed like we would never recover, and then all of a sudden we just had this huge pump. And this was only the first wave of a 5-wave move to the upside, which means that the third wave should be even crazier than what happened right here. Now, I was also comparing this 1-2 setup that we have right here to the 1-2 setup that happened in the previous cycle. Now, at first, I was comparing that 1-2 setup to this 1-2 setup because this 1-2 setup looks a lot more similar, but you have to keep in mind that this 1-2 setup right here did not start at the exact same time of the cycle, and it did not end at the exact same time of the cycle either. As you can see, this one ended in December of 2019, but even then, even though it ended a year earlier than our 1-2 setup, even here, we had a cross on the bull market support band, and then all of a sudden we had a huge bounce, and maybe you could say that we could have continued this if it weren't for the pandemic, and I think that's actually the case. I think we would have continued going up, and we would have not gotten this bear market low right here, which leads me to believe that Cardano could have easily gone to about $5 in the previous cycle. But, that's just speculation. Now, if you ignore this 1-2 setup, there's also this 1-2 setup right here, which happened at pretty much the exact same time period. And if you can remember what I said in my previous videos, after we had this 1-2 setup, here in September and October, Cardano was going sideways. And what happened in November? We had a 100% pump. And people said, yeah, this is not going to happen again. And guess what? It happened again. And this was only in November. If you look at what happened a few months after that, the price still went from about 19 cents to about $3 or so in the bull market. This right here was not actually an altcoin season. The altcoin season started right here. So why am I telling you this? Well, for those saying that Cardano is dead, you have to look at it from a cycle perspective. In the previous cycle, when we were at the end of the halving year, we were down here and Cardano was ranging from 10 cents to about, let's say, 12 cents or so, and it was down 90% from the high right here. And right now we are about 80% down from the previous all-time high, so we are not behind in my opinion, and there is still potential for Cardano to hit about $5 to $8 in the cycle if we continue to do what we did in the previous cycles. Now, like I said, here I think we were supposed to go to the 3.618 expansion and hit like $5. We did not do that because of the pandemic, so if this is a real third wave, which would be a third wave of this 1-2 setup right here, then this pump right here being so bullish and so impulsive really makes sense. And if it is a third wave of that 1-2 setup, this 1-2 right here, then there is obviously potential for Cardano to hit more than just $5 to $8. But these are my targets. I don't want to change them. They have been the same for the past few years, I would say, so yeah, there's no reason to change them. I also want to talk about Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is at a new cycle high again, but you have to keep in mind Bitcoin dominance always gets a correction in November, so I still think it's going to start going down very, very soon again. And if you look at the monthly chart, we are currently overbought, which is a very good sign because we have never been to the overbought territory on the Bitcoin dominance chart. And I believe it will top very, very soon, and maybe the altcoin season will start in December this year. Maybe it will not start in January like it started in the previous cycle. As you can see here, we had a correction in November exactly right here because, as you know, Bitcoin dominance always goes down in November, so that's why I think it will go down this year as well. And then after that, after we had this correction, we still proceeded to go up again in December, and then in January the real altcoin season started. So we don't have to do that again. If you check out what happened in 2016, In 2016, we started going down in November and we kept going down in December and in January as well, but the real altcoin season actually started in March of 2017 and it ended somewhere between, let's say, well actually it ended in January of 2018. So I don't know which cycle we are following right now, but no matter which cycle we are following, I'm expecting to get some kind of drop in November, and then what happens in December, like I said, it's still unclear, but even if we get new cycle highs on the Bitcoin dominance chart, that would not be the end of the world, and that would only happen if Bitcoin continues to go up, and there is a chance that Bitcoin gets to like 150k by the end of the year. I know I said that 100k is a reasonable price prediction, but you have to keep in mind that we got way above the 200% extension right here in the third wave, and there's still no sign that a fourth wave is happening, which leads me to believe that we will go way higher than 100k by the end of the year, and if that happens, then of course the altcoin season could start at any moment during that move, but maybe it's not going to start during that move. Maybe it will start after we get that kind of move, because if you check out what happened in the previous cycles, for example, right here in 2021 and 2020, the altcoin season happened after Bitcoin had this huge move from about, let's say, $3,000 to about $43,000. This is when the real altcoin season happened. This is when altcoins went up like 20 to maybe even 100x in the previous cycle. And as you can see here, Bitcoin did not really do anything. I mean, Bitcoin already had its gains, and yes, it did still go up after that, but it did not go up as much as the other altcoins, and yeah, that's an altcoin season. Bitcoin does not go up as much as the altcoins. That's how it works. So a similar thing could happen in this cycle as well. Bitcoin could continue going up to like, let's say 150k or so, and then we get the altcoin season. And of course, I'm still expecting Bitcoin to hit about 200k by the end of the cycle, which should be in October of 2025. So if we get to like 150k and then we start the altcoin season, it would not be the end of the world. Also, keep in mind, if Bitcoin gets to these numbers, I mean, of course, the altcoins are just going to continue going up. They are not going to keep putting in lower lows in the second wave move down. There's no way that's going to happen. So even if Bitcoin dominance continues to rise and Bitcoin continues to go up, I still think that altcoins will do just fine until we get some kind of altcoin season, because, you know, at the end of the day, if Bitcoin doubles in price, then of course your altcoin is also going to double in price. That's how it usually works. And don't forget what happened right here in the previous cycle when Cardano was at 10 cents. This is when Bitcoin was at $40,000. This is when people started to give up on crypto. And then all of a sudden, Cardano had this huge pump. And not only Cardano, I mean all of the altcoins had that pump. And in this cycle, that has not happened yet, but I still think it's going to happen very, very soon. So I'm sorry if this video is a bit too long, but you know, there's a lot to talk about, and I'm going to talk about the Bitcoin chart more tomorrow. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want to support the channel. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.